Hello everybody! Today I got home from work and actually had some time, so let's see what we can get done today. I'd like to put some shelves up over here. I purchased them this past weekend with the one day I had. Oh, that's really good focusing. And yeah, I'm gonna decide to put them here. I wanted a shelf to go here to put like the detergents and stuff on. But then I was like, well, I might as well get two. Then I could put one up there to have space as well. So we'll put one right above the venting and the outlet, but leave some room naturally so that, you know, the air freshener can work and the heat from the vent doesn't cause any issues. But that is that. Let's take a look at the items. Okay, so here are the shelves. They're just some simple Rubbermaid, whatever Home Depot had. They're made for the, you know, those bracket systems, so you can put them at various heights and change it and that kind of stuff, but I decided not to do that. I went and got actual brackets instead of that system. And additionally, I also picked up this shelving unit thing. We have some of these at work, and so yeah, I picked this thing up. I hope it will fit somewhere that is out of the way. I guess we'll find out. But that'll be good for the time being until I can get actual shelves on the wall. I thought about, you know, these kind, but then again, I thought it would be nice to just have some actual like plywood shelves so they can come out a little further. This is the only piece of anything that I have at the moment, really, because all this is for storage and whatnot. But as you may know, lumber prices are ridiculous at the moment. So that's why it's important to keep all of this lumber that I got from tearing the ceiling out. Anyway, you can see where the shelves used to be out here, so I may just do the same type of thing because obviously that's where the studs are. Those were secure points, so maybe I'll do something similar. Obviously I'd like to put a workbench here because there's plenty of outlets and that's really nice and convenient. So anyway, let's get back to the laundry room. So as you may see, I've drilled about 1,000,000 little holes because I can't believe what I am actually finding out. And there we go. So I have 1,000,000 little holes, and the reason I have 1,000,000 of them is there's literally 2 studs in this wall. This whole wall, there's 2 studs. There's not even one here at the end. There's not even a stud here. It's like in there. So like, you have a stud here, naturally. There's a stud there, and there's a stud right here. Right here there's one. It's about, you know, so big naturally. But those are literally the only 2. There's 1, 2. How in the world you make a wall that only has those 2 studs in it? That doesn't seem right to me, but yeah, that's what I'm finding. As I poked all these little holes, I couldn't find any other studs. So, I guess those are the 2 that we have to play with. Let's see what we can do. Okay, so we got the shelf on the wall. I'm going to talk a little louder because the machines are running. But these 2 are in studs and very sturdy. This one has a wall anchor and just a screw to keep it steady at the bottom. And then I put some graphite on these little rivets here to transfer to the other side, so that I can dig that out a little bit with a drill bit so that it will sit level without that gap that you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and the shelf is level, and I'll get some little screws or something to put underneath here. Boy, focusing is not a strong thing here with this camera, so you get to have blurry vision 24/7. And so, as long as I don't cover up the microphone. And so, we have shelf number 1. I haven't decided if I want to put the other one up. I mean, more storage is always good. But here's our first shelf. Like I said, we got the little dimples, the little rivets milled out or whatever, so that they don't stick up. We got some little screws in there, so they're nice and flush and sturdy. And there's our shelf. So, not too bad. That gives us more space over here to put, I don't know what, but it's clear. and that's nice to see. Hello everybody, today we are using the TX10 because I was going to use the other camera, but it died and I only have one battery for it, so it's charging. Anyway, it's finally the weekend and I finally have another chance to do some more projects around the house. The last one I did, excuse me, was the shelf in the laundry room, so that's done. But fast forward to Saturday today, and we're going to tackle a bigger project that I've been wanting to do, and the things are finally here to do it. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this project is. So here on the table we have track lighting. This is a 4-foot section of Satco's R30 track head straight cylinder brushed nickel design. This is their like fixture line, Nuvo, however you want to pronounce it, I guess. Of course, if you've seen Satco, they make bulbs and things like that. But they obviously make this kind of stuff as well. So, here is one of 3. I got 3 of these kits from Home Depot's online website because that was the cheapest place I could find these. And the reason I wanted R30 is because there's so many possibilities that can be had with the size of this track light can. So, with all those possibilities, I could put any type of bulb in there, of course R30 being the biggest, but if it's a bigger bulb, kind of like these over here, with a bigger neck on it, it would also fit. Because, you know, some other designs, it has a thinner neck, so you can't fit this kind of stuff in there. So a wider variety of bulbs being able to fit was a priority for me because I wanted something that could do that. Of course, these old eyeball swivel can lights are R30 in size, so it would match that at least. They just have R20 old GE LED style in them because I like the color that they give off. It looks really nice. So that is the project. So where are these going to go? Well, it's sitting right beneath where they're going to go. Right here. So I'm going to replace this fixture with the track lighting. It's going to run this way and that way. And that's perfect because the joists go this way. So it'll hit plenty of them along the way. And I'm not sure if I'll use 2 or 3 of the kits right here. But if I use 3, they'd obviously all go here. If not, 1 may go over here because, you know, then it would match. But anyway, I don't mind having that light there. That works fine for that area. Plus, this one's a little off-centered, if you see that it's hanging funny. So, either way, we got to take this fixture down. But before we do that, I think it would be a good idea to open this up and see exactly what comes inside. Okay, so here it is unboxed. Of course, we have our instructions and the different styles of track heads they make for this size. And that's pretty much it there. Of course, you have your little bump here that is connected to your electrical box, and the little piece that gets connected to the track to give it power naturally. So we'll have 3 of these little things. Obviously I'll need 1 of them, but the other 2 will just be extra, unless of course one ends up over there. However, the little thing inside I think I can modify and somehow put an outlet on it so that you can have auxiliary output or something. So we'll see. But anyway, that is the mounting, or to provide power anyway. Obviously they give you plenty of mounting stuff here, but they only give you the 2 holes on either end. And one thing that I usually do with track lighting is locate where the joists are in the ceiling and where my track is going to be. And then wherever the joist is, if it's right here, I'll drill a hole in the track just like they did so that it's secured directly to a stud instead of using these anchors and stuff. And then here's one of the cans. Seems to be really good quality. The whole thing's metal naturally. You'd hope so. It was manufactured in 2020. Was that August 8th? The socket is forward a bit. There's no adjustability with the socket, but it is porcelain. That's nice. Yeah, that looks just like I was hoping. Really cool. There's some airflow here, which is good. So, yeah, nice. And of course the others are in these boxes. I just took out the one. So anyway, what I need to do now is I'll get the other ones and get the tracks and see how I want to lay this out. So that's the next step. Okay, so I've decided to put all 3 lengths in this area. I laid it out on the table before moving it over here and decided that that would be the best looking scenario versus having 2 here and 1 over here. At least with the plans of what else I also have for this area. So, of course, move the table so that we can take down this light fixture. So that'll be the next step. Here's a quick look inside the fixture. Of course, we got the 3 bulbs. They're LED, Osram dimmable. And the reason it was off-centered is this was sticking like way up here, and then you tighten this, so obviously it has to be leveled before you install it, and they must have just put it up without leveling it. So that's interesting that it's not pre-leveled, I suppose, but you can just adjust that with the 3 wires here to make it centered. So that's why it was off-center. Anyway, we have our box, so let's continue. Okay, so where are we currently? Well, we finally have some light on the situation. I don't know why I didn't do that before, but we have the little connector up here for the track. They cut the ground wire off for whatever reason, really short and in the insulation, so I stripped it back a little bit to give us just enough to connect the ground to. I have no idea why they cut it off, but it is properly grounded. Of course, we have everything else wired up and ready to go. Of course, the power's still off because we do have live connections here if they were on. So power's still off, and that's where it sits. Now, we do have an issue here. The 2 holes for mounting the plate are right like this. Totally, yeah, there's absolutely holes to mount it like that. So it's just gonna have to exist there, I guess. But we do have mounting here to mount it to the track, and there's going to be a screw in the track right here because there's a stud, as you can maybe kind of see right there. So, speaking of the joists or studs or whatever, they're 16 inches on center, and I confirmed that by looking in the closet over there. And so what I've done is measured out, you can't see them because they're little dots and stuff, 16 inches. I measured from that wall to the center here where we're going to start. That is 62 inches. So 62 inches from the little wall there, this area, to where the center is here, and then 16 inches. So they're all measured out to make a nice straight line. Of course, can't see them again because they're just little holes that I've poked in there to ensure that there's a stud. So I take a paper clip of all things, straighten it out, and poke it into the ceiling where I think the joist is going to be. And if there's one there, obviously it won't go in any further. So that's my way of finding them, because I have found stud finders to be quite unreliable. They'll find everything up there except your stud. Anyway, let's move down here and take a look at the track. So this is going to be our starting or main track. That'll be by the box in the ceiling. So I have found the starting point here. This is the middle of the track, in the middle of the room, measured from that door, you know, that little wall there, to this wall. I found the center, marked that up there. That is the center right here. Of course, this is our stud that I was pointing out before, or joist. And from that, I measured 16 inches to find the next hole to create. And of course, the next one is in our next piece right here. And there's our other hole. Interesting. They're all in the exact same spot, but slightly shifted. Why is that? Well, there is a gap here, naturally, with the adapter, so that is why they are slightly shifted over. But yeah, I haven't done the third one yet, but I thought I'd share where we currently stand with getting the everything drilled and measured to make it straight on the ceiling. So that's where we are currently. I think what I'll do now is maybe I'll drill the third one and then we'll start putting it up. So we're getting there. Okay, so the line you see on the ceiling, I can't tell if it's blurry or not, is our track. And if we stand way far away, well, let's see here, all the way back here, it's as straight as a line, except for a little bump right about there at the tip of my fingernail, because the ceiling goes up just ever so slightly. But all the measurements worked perfectly. Every screw hit a stud, and it made it perfectly straight. So we have it centered in the room again, from that wall to this wall, and yeah, there we go. Oh, and we're back on the other camera now because the battery was actually charged. So one thing here that I don't like are these wires going through this hole without any type of protection from getting cut by this metal. But that's how it's supposed to be, so whatever. Of course, they also want you to put this thing in the middle, but then that's too much stress on the wires curving. So I tried to put it as close to the side as I could. And of course, there'll be a cover over this, so you won't see any of it. But there's our track. So fantastic. I have the cans need to be taken out of their boxes over here. There's one of them sitting there, and we'll get them up here and try it out. Now, the nice thing about this is that this light was already on a dimmer, so we get dimmable track lighting. Anyway, I'll get this cover on and we'll try it out, I guess. Okay, so we have the cover up and one can in place. So let's see if it works. Flip the switch. Yep, we got light. And we got dimmability. Very nice. It's an incandescent bulb in there currently. 65 watt, pretty standard R30 style. So very cool. I got all the rest of them to take apart, so that'll be 9 in total. I don't know if I'll put them all up there, but yeah, don't know what kind of bulbs. I haven't bought any specifically for this yet, so might be a variety for a little bit until I settle on something. I thought ultimately, if I don't want to just spotlight a certain item, I'd like to get the filament LED style R30s. Again, we'll see. I don't know. But there is that project. Of course, once I get this all cleaned up and get some more lights on it pointing different places, we'll do another a little clip. Okay, so I got the cans, or the track lights up here, and I got them just pointing in random directions. I only have 2 bulbs in, that one and that one. The rest of these don't have bulbs yet. Still deciding on what I want to put in there. But they're all pointing at, you know, different types of things. So anyway, that is that project. The track lighting is up. What's next? Well, this is what is next. This is a ceiling fan, obviously, and the ceiling is high enough down here to accommodate one. So even though it's already really busy with all of this, and they don't necessarily match, right here is where I'd like to put the Hunter Original. So thankfully it has a surface mount type deal, so I don't need a box or anything, but there is a joist right here, so that'll work out good. And naturally, absolutely nothing focuses, so that's even better when you can't see anything at all. But that's the idea here. And then I have the banana fan, as they're called, and I like to put that in between here. So we'll have 2 of them, of course, a little bit to display. Can't put one over here for obvious reasons. The projector's here, so it would be in the way. You'd have to be super low profile and then it wouldn't do anything. But yeah, so nothing over here because it just would not work. But that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go through my bin of ceiling fans, try to find all the parts for this, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I decided to take a break on putting up the Hunter Original because I wanted to get the appropriate hardware for doing so. The only thing I have are some deck screws, and you know, that thing's really heavy, so I don't want to put it up with just that. So I'm going to take a trip to the hardware store a little later and find the correct bolts that will be good enough to secure that thing to the ceiling and it's not going anywhere. In the meantime, I decided to put this thing up, if you could see it. Let me move myself around here. The Emerson heat fan. So it's a little wobbly. I tried balancing it. A blade or something probably got a little bent from storage. But anyway, it's up and it's working. And we have our little dial over here. So doing real good with that. That is much needed on this hot day. So works great. And here it's put up in the stud there, real secure. That's not going anywhere. So in the meantime, over here I decided to start taking this paneling down, or outside siding. In the wall, naturally, there's more weird things going on, like, what in the world is this? Was there a hole in the other side and they tried covering it up, or they just had an extra scrap, so they're like, yeah, let's just screw that here. I'm not entirely sure, like, what is that for? To screw from the other side into something? I guess. And then there's this foam. It's about 1 inch thick. It's this stuff here. I just shoved it up there. It's so light. It's not, like, terribly bad, so if there's more of it, I'll just stack it up here. Maybe it'll be good for a project someday or something. But it's definitely a lot nicer to deal with than the pink cotton candy looking insulation. Anyway, I'm going to continue taking this down. I'm storing all of it over here. Here's where I decided. We'll put it over here, and that'll be a good little spot for it without being in the way of anything else. So, the first ceiling fan is up in the garage, many more to come. Obviously many more lights to come too, but that's what we have at the moment. I'm going to continue with the wall. Okay, so other than me removing the piece at the very end there, this is what I found behind the wall. Well, wouldn't you know, I don't think heat or anything will escape here, or here, or here. You know, I think heat will only escape there, there, and there, you know, so let's not put insulation in every single area. Let's just put it in some random ones, and I think that'll be the best idea. That must have been what they were thinking, because this makes no sense at all. I don't know why they did any of this. Oh look, there's 2 layers of it in that one. Maybe there's 2 layers of it in some of these other ones too. Like, what in the world is that? Anyway, they did some weird things here. Like, what was the point of that? I have no idea, but plans at the moment are to leave this wall like this. I'm gonna take the insulation out naturally, figure out why in the world some of this stuff is here. I'll put the insulation up there. You know, it's light enough it can be stored there. And because that room's obviously being used. But it's nice to see the studs, so I know where to hang things and stuff like that. Of course, that wall over there will be getting removed, but haven't gotten that far yet. One thing at a time, naturally. So, I'll take all this insulation out, and then we'll get going on a different project that's going to go right here. I must say, this is 1,000 times better than setting all of this stuff all over the place. So, we have our shelves, one of those cheapo, well, I mean they're expensive, but cheapo quality kind of whatever shelving units you can pick up at the Lowe's or Home Depot. They both have these things. And this is great because look at all this shelf space. I already got some of the stuff off of that table over there, so that can actually be a table. I want to get some more little organizer things. So those you get at the Dollar Tree for real cheap. I'd really like to get the little drawers that you put screws in. That would be awesome. But we'll get there. Anyway, yeah, so we got some shelving over here. That is 1,000 times better.